Welcome to Art History Monday, where you get to learn about the history of art. Let's go. All right, everybody, we are back for Art History Monday, and today's episode is going to be on the Hoosier group, which might be the most influential, most talented, most impactful group of artists to ever live. Now, a disclaimer, I did grow up, born and raised in Indiana. Every time I see a Hoosier group or a Brown County landscape painting, I can feel Indiana. Reminds me of going on the back roads in high school, seeing the sunset during the summer. You can smell the Indiana air. That's what a Hoosier group painting does for me. So I think they're just the best painters to ever live. But objectively, they had a huge deal of setting the foundation for the art identity of Indiana, because in the 19th century, especially after the Civil War, artists were trying to figure out how to represent the world around them. So if you watch my first video on the shift from academic to modern art, I kind of go into how the whole world's trying to deal with that. But in America, artists go to Europe to study because there just aren't any good art schools in America yet. So they go to Europe, learn from the great contemporary artists, as well as the old masters, where they'll find all their art in museums. So they learn, study, copy, and then they come back. And back in the day, if you wanted to make money as an artist, you would go to New York or Boston or Chicago. But this group of artists, T.C. Steele, Otto Stark, William Forsythe, and John Otis Adams. There is one more. His name is Richard Gruel, but we're not talking about him because he's not in our exhibition Beyond the Forest, and we don't have any of his work in our collection. So if you're out there, you have a piece of his in your collection and you want to donate it to us, please hit me up. I'd be more than willing to accept it and put it on display. But we're going to talk about the four guys that are represented and talk about how they all use different things, different strategies, but at the same time, the same strategies to make the landscape of Indiana a worthy subject to make beautiful in art. So let's go check it out. After the Civil War, Indiana grappled with the challenge of self-definition in terms of its artistic identity. The pristine portrayals of an untouched wilderness by the Hudson River School in the northeast part of the country seemed hollow in face of post-war realities. In this crucial period, four artists emerged as leaders of change: T.C. Steele, Otto Stark, John Otis Adams, and William Forsythe. As torchbearers of a new era, the Hoosier group ushered in transformative shifts for Indiana art. In this painting, not on display here at the museum and not part of our collection, it's actually at the Indianapolis Museum of Art at Newfields, is a painting by Wayman Adams that shows these four artists. It's appropriately titled The Art Jury, and it's these four looking at a work of art. And you can kind of read this as, the four pillars of the foundation of Indiana art are looking back and judging what they had an influence on. Born in Spencer and raised in Waveland, Indiana, T.C. Steele embarked on an artistic journey that took him to Greencastle, Chicago, and Cincinnati before going to Munich. His first wife, Libby, and their three children went with him, and after enjoying immense success in Europe, the Steeles returned to Indiana in the 1880s. As a prominent member of the Hoosier group, Steele showcased mastery in color, light, and atmosphere, particularly in landscapes of the Indiana countryside. I like to call him the Rembrandt of trees. As you see, similar in Rembrandt paintings, Steele's complex and textured and layered brushstroke that make up trees in his painting are parallel to none. Steele advocated for outdoor painting and embraced the plein air tradition. Steele's first wife, Libby, supported his career until her tragic passing in 1899. After remarrying to Selma Neuerbacher, they moved to Brown County, Indiana, and built the House of Singing Winds. Beyond his artistic contributions, Steele's influence helped establish the Brown County Art Colony, shaping Indiana's cultural landscape. His unique blend of European training, impressionist techniques, and dedication to regional aesthetics set him apart as a key figure in American art history. Forsyth always had a passion for sketching, and in 1877 he enrolled at the short-lived Indiana School of Art. However, this helped propel him into the world of art, and in 1882 he followed Steele and Adams to Munich, enrolling at the Royal Academy. Upon returning to Indiana years later, he co-founded art schools in Fort Wayne and Muncie, along with Adams, and in 1891 Forsyth taught at a school founded by Steele. In 1906, he became a principal instructor at the John Herron Art Institute and dedicated nearly 3 decades to mentoring artists and fostering fine arts discourse. Forsyth continued painting until his death on March 29, 1935. In this painting, Backyard in My Garden, Forsyth puts on display his complete understanding of modernist ideals. A loose, broad brushstroke focuses purely on color, with nearly no regard to form. Light bounces off the trees, off the flowers, off the petals, off the leaves, and radiates off the canvas. Born in Amity, Indiana in 1851, Adams displayed an early passion for art and enrolled in the South Kensington School in London after a brief stint at Wabash College. But in 1880, he went with T.C. Steele to Munich and studied at the Royal Academy. Adams stayed for 7 years, but later returned to Indiana and began teaching in Muncie, where he co-founded the Muncie Art School. In 1898, he and T.C. Steele purchased the Hermitage in Brookville, fostering a landscape painting haven. Adams would then marry Winifred Brady. In 1902, he joined the faculty at the John Herron Art Institute, but later resigned in 1906 to focus on painting. Adams later explored subtropical landscapes in Florida, spending winters there, but his final years saw a return to Indiana, and he passed away on January 28, 1927. Born in Indianapolis, Otto Stark began his artistic education in Cincinnati and New York. Before going a separate way than his Hoosier group counterparts, and rather going to Munich, he went to Paris in 1885 to attend the Académie Julienne. Twice accepted into the prestigious Paris Salon, at the time the most famous art exhibition in the world, Stark returned to New York in 1891 after his first wife died. Initially withdrawn, he resumed painting in 1894. An advocate for modern art, he wrote The Evolution of Impressionism after visiting the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. His return to Indianapolis brought commissions, awards, and teaching roles, contributing to the city's emergence as an art center. Stark's versatility within Impressionism is evident in his loose brushstrokes, expressive colors, and depictions of everyday life, setting him apart from his Hoosier group peers. All right, just a reminder, there is a 5th member of the Hoosier group, Richard Gruelle, who we did not cover because we don't have any of his work in the collection. So if you're out there and you have a piece, you want to donate it, please let me know. But hopefully you guys learned a little something about their Hoosier group in today's Art History Monday. We have several of their paintings on display and Beyond the Forest landscapes from the permanent collection. So come check us out this holiday season. Stay tuned for 2 weeks from now, because next week's Christmas. There will not be a new episode of Art History Monday, but there will be the week after. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned until the next